What's up, everyone? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 17 of Tyler Henry Hollywood Medium. What's in your future?
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Something about you got me feeling like I can't be
let's get
without
this
you.
show started.
I forgot about this song. This was like not really the song of the summer, but like my song of the summer.
I love the song, I just never knew it was
Back
a
in the
Becky
day.
G song.
It was, and also Break a Sweat. Two great Becky G songs that I love. Other than
And she's
that,
so adorable. She reminds me of like a cross between Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato. She's just very like bubbly and sweet.
I saw her at Radio Disney Music Awards, and it was so cute. It was the funnest performance.
Was she exactly like what you would think she would be like in person? Like just very
Well,
bubbly?
I just saw her on stage.
Okay.
I didn't like meet
You
her.
didn't, like, go
I
up to
didn't
her?
have a Tyler intense conversation with her. But no, she was fun. She's a fun
cool.
performer. I would go. Actually, I shouldn't say this. I saw Selena in concert, and it wasn't my favorite. So if I had
Really?
to choose, it wasn't. I would rather go see Becky G.
I would still
than
choose Selena
Selena.
Gomez all the way. I love her.
She's coming back though with this fetish video, and like she's grown up.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I feel like
back
she's
to Becky G.
broken out of the Disney mold for sure. But yeah, let's get to Becky G and talk about like what Tyler's reading was of her, because it got, I guess, kind of dark, kind of sad very quickly. The part that really stood out to me, at least, was the Tinkerbell scene where she gave him, a piece of clothing, whatever it was, the frame actually, and he just kept saying Tinkerbell, 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 and she kind of had her breakdown, which always gets me for some reason.
The
I
moment
can't
where
handle,
they're like, "Oh no, not that detail,
I
too
know,
much."
It's too much, and yeah, we were having a conversation about this behind the scenes, me and you, about how
The home.
about her home, just her parents not being able to afford the mortgage and her
So,
house being
okay.
repossessed. And you said that it's worse for that to happen. You said, no, your words were...
I said something that
you
sounded
said-
bad, so now Amina's making me defend myself.
You basically said, oh, I thought it was a fire, as if like this is...
So what happened was, she said that Tyler was talking about they lost a home.
Yeah.
And when I hear the phrase lost a home, for some reason, I was thinking like a tragedy, because remember the electric blanket? We've had that before on Hollywood Medium, that there's like a natural disaster or that there's a fire or whatever. So I thought it was lost a home in that sense. And then when it turned out that she said bills were stacking up and bills upon bills and they just couldn't keep up, I thought that was sadder because fortunately, my childhood was not the easiest in a lot of ways, but fortunately I never had to worry that we were literally going to be evicted and homeless. And that just sounds really traumatizing to me.
That is very traumatic, but I can't even imagine a fire where you have no sort of like game plan. It just happens all of a sudden to you and you're not prepared and you're completely blindsided. I feel like with this case, like not being able to afford rent, you might have a backup plan, people to stay with. You might know like, hey, let me at
Sure.
least save my precious belongings and things that are really valuable versus a fire.
Well, so she saves the frame.
Yeah.
Which is what brought Tyler to the reading. I did think, so he always holds the items, and I did think it was a very specific thing for him to get to. Like
It was.
holding the frame to get to Tinkerbell, I thought it was one of the coolest things for him to match up
I
like
don't
that.
think that's something you can look up about Becky G, because I don't think she ever talks about Tinkerbell that frequently, publicly at least.
No. Well, also, he didn't know who she was.
He never knows who anyone is.
Well, no, I actually have a point to make about this. So I've already stated that clearly Tyler knows more people now than he did in the first season, and that's understandable. Like, he was brand new to Hollywood and this kid from the Midwest. But at the end of the day, I need Tyler to like get up to speed with musicians and
Yeah.
like actors and actresses, because it seems like the only people he consistently knows is reality TV stars. And remember, we were so shocked that he knew the Jersey Shore people.
Yeah, I was like, that's such an obscure reference. How would you know that? And
right,
not
and we're not on this
some
reading
big-time
yet, but he
people?
knew this random reality star from Bravo. And listen, I'm a Bravo TV sucker. I'm a reality TV sucker. I still barely know this woman and this show.
I was gonna say, I feel like those are much harder to know than actual
right.
A-listers.
So like Tyler, if you know Tabatha Coffey, you should know Becky G, is how I feel. But I thought that her guardian angels thing was adorable. I have always believed that I have guardian angels following me around because I'm the worst driver. So sorry, LA. My car is literally in the shop right now from an accident. And
So I guess that hasn't been working out well for you, the guardian
no,
angel.
but I really should probably be dead right now, and my friends and relatives should be getting messages from Tyler if it wasn't for the guardian
Okay.
angels. So anyway, I thought it was adorable that she wanted to hear from the guardian angels, and I think it was adorable that her great-grandma is living through her. I think she's adorable. I loved the reading.
I really did like that reading too. I always
was a
wonder
good
if
one.
Tyler Henry watches himself on TV. That's actually a question I'm gonna have for him if he ever comes. Into the
I
AfterBuzz
want to know
studios.
that too. Well, no, he must, because he live tweets, and he surely doesn't just
Does
memory
he
and-
do it, or does his assistant do it for him, or are they like pre-scheduled?
No,
tweets?
I think he does, because he makes these like spiritual insights, and he answers people's questions in a way that when we see Charlie on TV, I don't think the assumption is she knows all of those questions.
Okay.
So I think it really is him. And
Maybe.
I think that I think that he can watch himself.
I wonder what he thinks of himself while he's watching himself. That's so like cringeworthy to watch yourself on TV
And all
or
the
anything.
sweat
I
coming
hate
down.
watching myself. I hate it. But yeah, then we move on to Tabatha Coffey, who
Tabatha
I
takes
had
over.
no idea who this lady was. I was like, she kind of looks like a blend between Kris Jenner and Tilda Swinton, which is a very
Which I can see both.
unique look.
Honestly, like I said, I barely know the show.
Yeah.
What it does have in common with last week is it's these people who have really tough exteriors. Like, you know, Patty.
I love Patty Stanger.
Yes, and on her show, she's no nonsense, like, I'm gonna tell it like it is, this is what it is. Same thing with Tabatha, she goes into these beauty salons that are a disaster. In the same way, I think, is Gordon Ramsay his name? How he does for
Yeah,
restaurants? Or bar rescue.
She like basically flips salons. Like she makes them
Right.
way nicer.
And so
way more efficient.
she's stern and no nonsense and whatever. And I love seeing those kind of people like have to get vulnerable and open up, and it's like
nice. It's refreshing because we always see one
Right.
side of them portrayed on their shows, and then it's nice to see the other side of them come out. So,
well, and she was like, enjoy it because you get it this once on this episode. You don't
Yeah.
get this from me ever again. So enjoy it.
they have so much product placement going on, by the way. I mean, at least in terms of locations with the Eden Sassoon salon.
I know. I was like, we have seen her name
Yeah.
and heard her name about 6 or 7 times. What am I trying to say? In total. And I was like, the plugging is real.
They do. A lot of the Real Housewives get plugged, by the way. No pun intended.
Which
but, like,
is
they
funny
really
because I know it's
do
in the
get
same
that.
family.
Yeah.
It's all NBC Universal, but it's like they're not even
But
the
it's a
same
lot,
network.
like with Lisa Vanderpump, her restaurant Pump being plugged, and I feel like it happens a lot with the Housewives.
You're right.
Sir Restaurant
You're right.
for Vanderpump Rules.
There's a lot of housewives.
There's a lot, yeah.
But I think, again, Tyler loves them. Tyler loves his reality TV, and so he goes along with it. I think
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
his
he's
or
into it.
Charlie books it because he doesn't know.
And he has been getting very specific details lately where I do feel like you can't Google it, like not just the
Like
Tinkerbell
the
incident.
pet monkey.
The pet monkey was definitely, yeah, very, very specific. I don't think there's any way you could figure that out.
Or Victoria, Australia.
I want to know what he's picturing in his mind when he starts laughing. Like, what joke it is. Because he always, like, does this thing where he starts
Well, the
thinking
monkey
and then
and
laughing.
the nunnery.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that didn't go together in that episode.
Okay, I noticed this with Tabitha's reading. It was like the first detail that we saw, but if you look down at his notepad, he had like 3/4 of it covered in scribbles. And I noticed it and I was like, we don't notice how much time goes by. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we wonder, man, he pulled that out really fast. Like, but when you look, he sat there and scribbled.
When you use that as, like, justification of how hard he worked, it just kind of cracks me up.
Well,
because what is in those scribbles? Like, why? I still do not
I'm not saying how
understand
hard he works. I'm
to
just
this
saying the
day.
awkwardness of, like, if you're sitting there scribbling,
Yeah.
on the TV edit, they make it look like I sat down and you were just like, so I'm getting this and I'm getting this. But actually, I might have sat here in silence for 10 minutes while you just kind of looked off into space and scribbled. Like, I think it's a lot more drawn out.
Yeah.
Somebody asked him on Twitter and he said the average reading is an hour to an hour and a half. So
Wow.
not only is
And we
there...
thought we were watching very long, drawn-out episodes.
Right.
But,
Not only is there stuff we're not hearing, there's a lot of silence. So
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine the awkwardness. You're sitting there, he's sweating, and I just think it's intense.
And he has, like, an earpiece of people Googling stuff for him
No,
as he speaks.
Stop. Thumbs down for Nina being skeptical. I don't actually want the thumbs down, but come on, Mina.
I want to believe the best. I want to get a reading done.
Well, and speaking of believing the best, Tabatha said she's a total believer if it's the right person. And I actually agree with that because I told you, I admitted a couple weeks ago that I got a psychic reading, but I'm very skeptical of who, like, this person I gave nothing to. I asked one question and they pulled out all this stuff. And I would not just, I mean, we see them all over the place in Hollywood, these seedy shops with like the neon red lighting, and I would not go into any old place and ask. So, you know, I am very open and very much a believer. Same thing with like astrology. There's like one astrology person that I read and I'm like a sucker for their forecast, but beyond that, I'm like, whatever.
You're not trusting of.
So I related to that. I was like, okay, if I'm going to do it, it has to be somebody that like is highly reviewed on Yelp.
Yeah, those are always
or
the
by
best
my
ones.
friends, or like, I don't know.
I feel like the best psychic is gonna be like the random one in the alleyway that comes up to you and knows everything about you.
Okay, but
like those
but
random
in my
encounters.
assumption in this city, it doesn't have to be Yelp, right? But like so many people in this city have psychics and healers and shamans, and like if it's a credible person, the word should spread.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's same thing with online. I'm in the online spiritual
but how many
space.
people are actually going to psychics though on a daily basis? I feel like there are way more
A lot of
non-believers
people.
than there are believers.
Yeah, but if anywhere in the world people are open to crazy stuff, it's LA.
That's a decent
We're the
point.
one place in the world where Scientology could like explode.
This
People
is
are
true.
gullible. People are,
This is very true.
you know.
And what
it
if
is what it is.
Scientology is the truth and all the rest of us are crazy?
I will not comment on
It
that.
could be the case. But moving on, speaking of crazy, no, I'm just kidding. We're not going to move on to Mischa Barton yet. But
We're
let's,
not? Oh,
let's talk
we have
about
a little more on
we have a
Tabatha.
little bit more on Tabatha. I thought it was really sweet how she did get closure about her mom, and you know, she took care of her mom who was diagnosed with cancer and was terminally ill. When a lot of the male figures in the family thought it was too much or a huge burden, Tabatha was the one who, you know, stuck it out and did a really good job as her caretaker. And I know, like, in this day and age, a common thing to do is to turn to nursing homes. Not saying anything bad about nursing homes, but it's very rare that you see, like, a daughter take care of her mom and put in that much effort. So I thought it was really beautiful that she stuck with that and she got the closure she needed when Tyler was basically saying, you know, your mom was supposed to pass 24 hours prior, but she passed 24 hours later because she wanted to be able to see you one last time. Like, I thought that was very moving and very touching. And yeah, if there was any part to tear up at, that was the part that probably...
That was your tear up moment?
that
I
was
thought
probably-
Ryan's was a little more teary.
I mean, that part hit me a little hard. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought that this is like the backstory of Tabatha's tough exterior, right? And that's what I find in life is not everybody is like super touchy-feely, warm, affectionate, whatever.
Right.
But some of the most loyal people who will show up for you in the moments where it counts are the tough exterior, but like they're loyal, I'll say loyal AF.
Yeah.
to keep
I don't know
it
why I
PG.
keep thinking of Snape from Harry Potter when I think about this characterization, if you've ever read the books.
No,
but,
I have, but that's just interesting.
like, just kind of, like, cold removed, but at the end of the day, like, he's loyal to the promises that he
Right.
made in life.
So don't be off put, I'm saying, by her, like, no nonsense exterior,
Yeah.
because
She can seem, like, cold
she
and
came through of all
removed,
people in
but-
the family.
Yeah. She seems like a very solid, reliable, decent person.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now I want to watch the show that I've
Yeah.
never really gotten into.
I'm kind of interested now.
So the plugs are working.
They really are. Like, I feel
Do
like
you want to go to
is...
Eden Sassoon's salon
we
now?
should definitely go there now that it's been revamped. Or
Where,
oh, she never flipped that
Where
salon.
is it? Beverly Hills?
Everything's in Beverly Hills or West Hollywood. Those
I-
are the two
I
main
assume.
locations.
Well, where I live. Perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on to Mischa Barton from your favorite show ever.
Marissa! Oh my gosh. Guys, I never thought about how much I missed the OC in like 12 months probably. And then this reminded me. I love her. I love her character in the OC. I miss that show. And she had never had a reading and was really...
Is it sad that I
Interesting.
know her for Dancing with the Stars and I've never watched the OC?
No, well, you
It's
know
probably
what?
pretty bad.
You know what? That's a theme of this episode because I don't know if you remember Ryan Lochte
Mhm.
also did Dancing with the Stars.
Ah.
And I mean, I don't want to be too too cynical about this, but I feel like people go on Hollywood Medium when their publicist needs them to like get back in the limelight a little
that
bit.
does make sense.
And so, which Dancing with the Stars is also something
Yeah.
that you do.
because
when
even
you're-
with Becky G, like, this was actually taped a while back because she was talking about Power Rangers and that was her plug.
Right, but I felt bad for that because so Pauly D's reading was well timed because we're less than a month away from the Jersey Shore reunion special.
Right.
I'm like, Becky G, I'm so sorry, but if this was supposed to plug Power Rangers, that came and went.
Yeah.
I heard great things about it, actually. I never saw the movie.
Yeah, me either.
But I heard great things about it. But if you were trying to plug your Yellow Power Ranger self,
yeah,
the moment has passed for that, unfortunately.
this is true.
So Mischa.
Yeah, let's go on with Mischa. So Tyler Henry guesses her middle name correctly, Anne, which I'm sure you could easily Google. But other than that, he did say some other things that I felt.
He brought up the
were-
lungs and the emphysema, did I say it right?
Yeah, emphysema.
And the 21st.
Yeah.
That is, okay, that is like
That's a
a
big,
nitpicky
big deal.
intricacy.
It is.
And her mom's star sign and the birth date
Because
question.
if it's
what a-
March 21st, then that means that you're a cusp. You're like a Pisces. But if you go into April, then you're an Aries, and those are two totally different personalities.
Very different.
Yeah.
I'm right on the cusp of Scorpio and Sagittarius.
Okay.
What is your star sign?
I'm a Cancer. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
My
that-
favorite thing to
that
do when
tells
people
you
tell you
everything
their
you need to
sign is
know.
to go, oh, of course. Or like, now it all makes
Yeah, that's
sense.
what
And
you're
leave the
supposed to do.
person hanging on. Like, what does that mean? What is he
Right.
saying? So, okay. So I thought there were a lot of specifics with this. What do we think about the uncle, Jared, right? The
Yeah.
uncle and the question
I felt like
marks
so
and the
many
unresolved
things.
feeling.
Like, they talk about it being a question mark, how no one really understood how he passed or what was going on, but they still never resolved it in the reading. So I felt like this reading was so unresolved.
Okay,
and I don't understand.
We
the
argued about
conclusion.
this because you feel like she needed to know, was this a suicide? And there
Yes.
wasn't a specific answer.
Yes.
I thought that the answer was he was not in a mental state of wellness and like normal, healthy consciousness.
But that's
So-
always, if you're suicidal, you're never in that healthy headspace. So that has no bearing on anything. I mean, anyone who commits suicide isn't like in the right
I just thought
state
it
of
was
mind to think that it's a good decision.
Right, but I thought it was a reading full of compassion, and I actually thought, in a sad way, what a well-timed topic, because we keep losing people.
We really do.
And Chester just recently with Lincoln Park at the time of this taping.
Mhm.
And man, it's so heartbreaking that people would be in a state and in a position where they would think this is the only relief I can find.
Right.
But that, I thought it was a well-timed discussion to have, and my heart just goes out to people that are in that place. It was really sad.
I know, it was pretty depressing, but still felt like there were a lot of unanswered questions, but I guess like that's probably the hardest thing about people who pass, if it's related to mental illness, is you never necessarily get the answers that you were looking for, and you feel like, is there anything I could have done to help, which is definitely not the best feeling, to have any sort of guilt associated with that.
Well, and you made a good point though, that I mean, last week the Chrisleys had this big mystery of, and it turned out that the person didn't kill themselves. And this was a huge relief to them. So I do feel like we did not see, at least, her get an answer the same way the Chrisleys got a very specific answer.
Right.
So I don't know.
We also don't know
it's just
what was
sad.
cut out of the reading for privacy reasons, so we don't
Right.
know what was shown, what wasn't.
We got the specifics like Anne, and not the
Yeah.
specifics that mattered. That mattered most. It was just a
it's
sad
true.
reading. I mean, the suicide thing comes up a lot on this show,
Yeah.
and it's just always sad.
Yeah, for sure.
I never feel like, oh, what peace. Like, it's nice to know that it was a relief. It's nice to know that they're in a better state, but it doesn't make the passing any less sad. So.
Definitely. I mean, it's still depressing all around, but I do want to move on to Ryan Lochte, just because I feel like that was the main focus of this episode.
It was the
kind of
longest
felt
one,
that way.
probably.
Yeah, which is weird, because usually the last ones aren't the most, emphasized ones, but in this case
It was with the Chrisleys, which you were not here for. I keep
I
rubbing
know,
it in. Guys,
I
was the
know.
Chrisleys episode not so good in that reading?
And that was like the one that I was looking forward to the most too.
You know what? It didn't even feel like a plug. Like, obviously we know who they are, and we
Yes.
know it's a show that
Yes.
Tyler admits to watching, but it didn't even feel like a plug.
Yeah.
And nor did Ryan's, because if you remember, he had a show, What Would Ryan Lochte Do? Which failed. It was so bad,
Oh.
and it didn't really make him look
I
better. It
forgot
was
about
supposed to
that.
like rehabilitate his image.
Yeah.
It didn't work. But I think this appearance, he looked really nice.
Yeah, he talked about his 10 gold medals that he got, which I think is insane. I never knew it was that many.
He's not quite, sorry, Ryan. He's not quite up there at like a Michael Phelps level.
Yeah, but it's still a lot.
But he's up there.
Still way more than I thought it would be.
More
but-
than we have.
More than we have.
More gold medals than Mina and I have
Sure.
combined.
I have a lot of gold medals from elementary school, so.
And how,
Same thing.
Mina, it's literally so us, not just you and me, but like
Mm-hmm.
all of us watching the show, that he watches it with his fiance,
Mm-hmm.
and they sit there and discuss, like, is it real? He could have known. He couldn't have known. Like, that's so America and how we watch the show.
Yeah, it's true.
I love that. I thought that was a cute moment.
His fiance got some answers with regards to, like, her book career. Like, as an
I want to know
author.
what the book is going to be about. I
He
didn't
said
hear enough about the book.
He just said, like, one of them is going to be about relationships, but that she's going to do a bunch of different books. I wonder
I'm
if
so
any of them
intrigued.
is going to become a bestseller. He just said that she's on the right path, which I feel like that's what I would want to go to Tyler for. I want him to be kind of like my career coach. Like, am I
Career
on
advice?
the right path? That's what I would want from him.
Well, what's interesting is sometimes he does get readings on various topics,
Mm-hmm.
but it, like I brought up with the Khloe Kardashian situation, it never is when the people want it.
I know.
Like, Khloe wanted him to hear really something specific from him, and she was so attached to it, and he was like,
Like, no, it's not
giving
coming
it to
through
her.
right now.
But I know you disagree because you thought Tabatha's. I thought the most moving moment of the episode was the grandfather helping him win in Beijing. I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah.
And I love when they already sensed something, or like they already had a moment of their own, and Tyler brings it full circle and was like, yes, confirmation, it was that person.
So
it
he
was real, you
basically
were feeling it.
Admitted to his grandfather rigging the Olympics is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, sorry to Michael Phelps and any other
Right.
competitors, because
That's what happened.
really it was the grandfather who you have to
Divine
blame.
intervention. No, but seriously, I thought that was really beautiful when he was talking
It
about
was.
doing his backstroke and like thinking about his grandfather and thinking, just help me make this record, and then him just getting a sudden burst of energy, which I thought that's like really interesting. And like him having that, beautiful image of his like fists being raised in the air and like looking to his grandfather and saying, this one's for you. I thought it felt like straight out of
Beautiful.
a Disney sports movie. Like, Remember the Titans or
That's
something.
true.
That's what
That
it
was
felt
like
like.
that was, and Russell is such a like sports movie name.
It kinda
Russell
is.
was there cheering you on.
This is
no, it
true.
was beautiful. It was, and honestly, I don't know. It did endear me to Ryan. I didn't
Yeah.
like him in the show, but in the reading, I was like, okay.
How can you
I'd
not
go-
be hypnotized by his blue eyes, though? That's like, I feel like you look at him and you're kind of engrossed in whatever he's saying, even through the TV screen.
Okay. I would agree.
Fair enough.
I'll admit.
Yeah. So you let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you engrossed by Ryan Lochte's piercing blue eyes? Anyway, where can they find you?
You can find me here every week. And Thursday nights on the Boy Band After Show, and on all social media at Dr. Lovegrove.
And he gives a lot of great advice, guys. He can be my life coach, maybe.
You can see what I have
We'll
to say and
see.
decide for yourself.
And you guys can find me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic. This just about wraps up our show, guys. So tune in next week. We have some great stuff coming. And we'll be back for you guys. See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.